Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. High fidelity. People tell me every day, love is gonna come my way. Searching for clues that I won't survive. Want something that's gonna last. I wanna live and forget the past. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Wondering where the wind will blow. If you got a clue to let me know. Don't hold it back now. Give me a sign. Tell me something really good. If you dream, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me. If it changes in its own way, I'm feeling better than me. I'm gonna run back and all of this one day. I'm gonna live. Even though I hurt me now, I know the things will come in true. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona. A spiritual image production on Blog Talk Radio and freeconferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships to the human God. Aloha. Welcome to tonight's Golden Age Paranormal Experience Show. Tonight we'll be talking with Stephen Nakamura, all the way out of Sedona, Arizona. Aloha, Stephen.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for having me on the show, Andrew. It's a pleasure, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here. Tonight we're going to be talking about freedom from the Matrix prophecies. We're going to come back to Stephen here in a little bit and talk to him some more about that. But in the meantime, we also have Marietta White all the way out of New York. Aloha, Marietta.
Aloha, everyone.
Thank you for being here. She's our in-house psychic. She's been with the show for several months. I think, what, a year and a half, 2 years? How long have you been on the show with us, Marietta?
I don't know, at least a year.
At least a year. Marietta White, psychic medium, a Christian spiritualist, pastor through the Church of Radiant Light, and through her practice of teachings by Marietta, she brings her knowledge of and understanding of all that it is and all that can be. She is the belief that we are like tiny snowflakes, and we can become a snowball that can cause an avalanche of love and kindness. Marietta invites you to journey with her and she also does classes on mediumship as well as planning classes that have included angels, I don't know, was it angels, a beginning, mediumship, reading your sign, symbolism, and more. Again, you can go to MariettaWhitePsychic.com and connect with her there. And if you want to get a hold of Stephen, you can go to Facebook, go to Facebook and you can find him there under Stephen and Nakamura, Nakamura, and find him and his fiance there. Well, congratulations. Anyhow, Stephen, when are you planning to get married anyhow?
What was that? Say that one time?
I said, when are you planning to get married?
Oh, we're getting married actually on Wednesday.
Oh, really? No kidding. I'll be darned. And then where's that going to be at?
We're excited here in Sedona.
Okay. Yeah.
Sedona. Yeah, it's going to be really awesome.
Nice. So,
we're getting married on our 1 year anniversary.
Nice.
Which is December 21st. The solstice.
Okay. And that sounds like a good day to get married on, for sure. So, and we're going to come back to talk to Steve here in a second. What I want to do is give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Maha Dikini Lore at www.mahadikini.com. Maha Dikini Lore's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric healer and tantric counselor. She's a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dikini Lore is also a graduate of Margot Non's year-long Skydance and Tantric Facilitator Training Program, as well as a current member of the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club. She's a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. Now, Stephen, do you have your phone on a speaker?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now, are you next to a computer that's also where you're listening to the show as well?
No, are you getting feedback?
Yeah, I'm getting feedback, but usually it's because your phone is next to some other phone that's already also on the online, or some computer that's also online as well. But we're just going to move on, and I don't know why that's happening, but we're just going to go work with it. So we also have the 90-day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul true life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what Ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect yourself, your emotions and feelings in your mind, body, and spirit. Through the universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with the endeavors and never look back if you dare. And now, for those of you that are interested, I wrote the book version of this several months ago to supplement this journey. So if you go to www.90dayascensionjourney.com or www.spiritualimageproductions.com, there's a gift there of the book. You can click on that. That will take you to a page where you can read the introduction and also the first chapter, if you'd like, and also look at the table of contents. And if you like it, then you can order it online there on the website, or on Amazon.com, or on Kindle.com if you want to check it out. So anyhow, you can go from there. And in the meantime, getting back to Stephen, I don't know where this feedback's coming from, but and I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if Blog Talk Radio's on. There's people on the background there with their speakers open, and they're on the speakerphone. But if you are, you need to take it off speakerphone, whatever you do. So anyhow, aloha, Stephen. So if you can kind of give us a bio of who Stephen is, where you grew up at, what you've been doing, and then how you got to where you're at now. So go ahead, whenever you're ready.
Oh, well, fantastic. Okay, so I just met Andrew at the grocery store here in Sedona, where people like us kind of converge from all around the world. And I've been here, coming to Sedona, on and off for about 6 years. And it wasn't until the last 2 years that I started to actually make very clear sense as to why I actually came out here and what happened in my past and how it led up to where I'm at now. And it's a very interesting, profound series of events that, you could probably write, one of the greatest stories ever told about how we're all coming together and for what reason. And I think, most of us, we just kind of feel a sensation, like a call, like a yearning in our spirit, for something more. And not all the time, but often it comes to a crystallization where we start to realize things about ourselves and reality and the people around us that are just absolutely magical and profound. And so that's really how my life has been, even up to this young age of 23. Some people don't even get until they're, even in their 50s or not at all. But how I started, I grew up in California, and to me, my life seemed pretty normal for the most part. I was always, into weird stuff. I guess you could say paranormal. I was, started reading about ghosts in fourth grade, and I was always fascinated by things like cryptozoology and psychic abilities and all that stuff. And it wasn't until about 2010 that some of the things that I was into, like the paranormal when I was younger, it hit me like a ton of bricks, that my childhood wasn't as normal as I thought it was. As a kid, I was always into aliens and stuff like that. And I would always, kind of be like, oh, it would be so cool to be, abducted by aliens. And, I was always like, oh, one day, or maybe, probably not, but it wasn't until about 2010, 2012 that I started to question some of one of the experiences that I had as a kid. That my entire life, up until 2012, I thought that I explained it as a hallucination that was brought on by a high fever from the flu. And I thought this experience was something as simple as just, I was very sick and I was hallucinating for 3 days. But it dawned on me that what I had seen when I was sick, as I thought, was not something that you just get from, your own head. I saw very specific things over the course of 3 days. And one of these things that I saw, or not just saw, but experienced, was a place. And this place, what it looked like was a dead forest. It was this forest of trees that were completely gray and had these stripes on them. But these trees, they didn't have any branches. It was just like a tree trunk, like a pillar. And about maybe like 30 feet up, 30, 40 feet up, these trees, as I felt them, they went back into a ceiling, like as if I was underground. And the strange experience was very, very intense. It lasted for 3 days, and I had, I just always thought it was, hallucination. Up until 2010, I found a music video by the rock band Tool. Many of you may be familiar with their esoteric and, strangely spiritual music videos and songs. But in their music video Parabola, the music video depicts to the exact detail this place that I was taken to. And so seeing that, it just blew my mind that this thing that I thought was just in my head since childhood, one of the most powerfully intense and painful experiences of my life, was actually real, because somebody else had witnessed it as well, to not just depict it, but depict it exactly as I had seen it. And it made me really wonder, what happened there? What really happened during that experience during this 3 days? And I started asking people around, and one day I was on I had ended up going on a trip to Mount Shasta with a group of people in 2010.
Oh, wow.
And this group was called Team Light. Some of you might have heard of them. And we were up there to do Stargate activations on Mount Shasta, and we were activating the grid and all this stuff. And I was asking some people around, and these people ended up also having strange experiences as well. And so over the course of a couple of years, I pieced it all together, and what I realized was that I was involved in what's called MILABs, military abduction. And a lot of the people around me, not just people in Sedona, but all the people, all my close friends, a handful of about 10 people in the area I grew up in, which was East LA, Los Angeles, Montebello area. All of my best friends growing up also had this very strange experience around the same year, which was 2002. And what we came to realize by cross-referencing and comparing our testimonies and our stories was that in the year 2002, the CIA, the NSA, the shadow government, the elitists, whatever they are, I guess they went out and they started targeting all the children in my area, the kids who were, born around 1992, 1993. And what they did was they administered to them a nanotechnological substance called the black goo. And the black goo has in the last year started to pick up a lot of mainstream attention and has gone viral on the internet because it's being shown a lot now in various sci-fi movies. And I was administered this black goo, and what it did to me was what I thought was a flu. It just like in the movie Avatar, it split my consciousness, and it just had a plate melt. It split my consciousness, and it uploaded my consciousness into my clone's body for 3 whole days. And so what was so strange about this experience was that I was fully and completely aware of 2 different bodies at the exact same time for 3 entire days. So I could wake up and I could look in the mirror, but I was also in another body too. And this was my clone's body. I need the fire extinguisher. Shit. Babe. Yeah, there's a fire. Yeah. Ha ha ha. It was crazy. We just had a fire. Yeah.
You guys okay there? You okay there?
That is so funny. Yeah. Scary.
Fire is initiation, so I guess you've been initiated for some reason.
Speaking my testimony, live on the air. That is weird.
Okay.
We're in practice. Don't put that in.
You guys okay?
Okay, so that's funny. But everything was okay now. I put it out. Lucky in a fire extinguisher. So I grew up involved in military abductions. I was involved in what I now know as Project Blue Blood and Project Looking Glass, which involved time travel. And so, half of my story relates to my experience being involved in, well, I wouldn't say alien abduction, but government abduction. And I believe that the reason why they began to target me at such a young age for these experiences is possibly due to the fact that they have somewhat of a time travel technology that allows them to see who we become in the future, and what we're capable of doing. And they tried to stop us. Almost like King Herod killing all the 2-year-olds when he heard rumor of the Messiah being born. I believe that they tried to target all of these children because they knew that the prophecies were being completed, that the return of the Messiah would be happening soon. And I think that that's kind of the key to the motives behind a lot of these secret societies that have developed over the years.
It's funny because I just about a week or 2 ago I was just talking about that, and in the fact I believe that there's still a lot of people that are affected by that whole curse that was going on with that, and in fact I told a woman, and even the Kennedys I think were still affected by that even today, and I told this woman that I believe I was also affected by that. To go and get some lambs. She suggested going and buying some lamb's meat, some baby lamb meat, and taking the blood from that and put it in and making a cross over your door, your front door. And then I believe,
just like in Passover.
yeah, that's right. And that during Passover, and I believe that will actually remove that curse forever and ever, amen, from whoever. So who is still affected by that. But, so now I want to take a step back. First of all, now what did your parents do growing up, Stephen?
Oh, that's a good question. My parents growing up, my mom was the General Mills, steady trunker, making more chemical food.
Okay, wait, hang on. So your mom, Stephen, your mom, somehow, for some reason, you're being muffled. So whatever you were doing, if you can change your miking, that would be helpful. But like you said, your mother was a nurse. Is that a general nurse? Is that what I heard you say?
Oh, no, she worked for General Mills.
Oh, General Mills. Got it.
Yeah, so she worked for the company, that makes, Cheerios, cereal.
Yeah.
And, Betty Crocker and stuff, so, unhealthy food, and Monsanto food. And my dad worked for the census, so, he had a feed in the Fed, and he counted people, of course, in the census. And the building that he worked in East LA, I have traced that, and I've done some online research and discovered that it is true that, in fact, some of the federal complexes in that area in Los Angeles, including the census building there, and a lot of the gas companies, Sempra, SoCal Gas, they have entrances into the deep underground military base underneath Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
So that's kind of an interesting thing tied to where I was taken. And I did discover that the place I was taken to with the dead forest was indeed a deep underground military base underneath Los Angeles.
Oh,
and it has, up to 9 floors.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think you were having a premonition that you were going to experience this forest in the future? Or do you think that was a place that you actually visited, and that was a real place, a place that's physical and still there even now? I mean, how does that look?
Very, very good question. Very good question. I have discerned and have a very good amount of evidence that that actually shows that both of those possibilities are exactly what it is. So what had happened was I was actually physically taken there at that moment. I was physically there. I was bilocated there into a physical body, a body that they created in a lab, a clone, and a hollow vessel that they uploaded me into. So I was physically there. But what I witnessed under there was not just, a place and a thing, but I witnessed an event. On the third day, I witnessed a series of events. And the last event, I know without a shadow of a doubt that what it is a prophetic vision of the Antichrist.
Okay. And and just to let you know, area code 229, area code 563. If you want to ask questions, we're going to open up Q&A during the second half of the show after we play some music. So you'll be able to, we'll bring you in for Q&A. So, but in the meantime, so how do you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this is true, that this is so? What indicators for yourself you know for sure that this is so? All this stuff.
So the series of events that I witnessed, not only have I found, so the series of events that I've seen, that I saw under there have actually started to come true. And they're coming true chronologically. And, what I had seen under there 14 years ago, in 2002, I witnessed an election. And it was an election between a white man, a white woman, and a candidate, a third candidate, a person was chosen who was not a candidate, and it was a black man. And when this person was chosen, there was a tsunami of doom, a tsunami of death that occurred. And it was absolutely the worst thing that could have ever happened. And at this time, I was surrounded by 1 and 2 foot tall gray aliens. And when this election began to happen, they all fled from me. They ran away like bats out of a cave, and they were very afraid. And an army of 1 million horses was crackling off in the distance, coming towards me from the depths of this black abyss. This election began, and when it happened, it was a black man who was chosen. And he wasn't supposed to be chosen. He wasn't even a candidate. And I believe that this is foreshadowing the possibility that in the time between now that Trump has been, elected as president, that there could be a nationwide or international emergency event that triggers a martial law lockdown of the United States, in which Barack Obama, which his name is not even Barack Obama, it's very sartorial. Barack Obama, which is the name of the Antichrist as it was spoken in Luke in Aramaic, which is Barack Obama, which means a flash of lightning from the heavens, that he may invoke some of the executive orders that he put through to halt the election and stay in office during that time that a World War II type event would occur.
And that could still take place even now. Absolutely. That would make sense, because somehow it's something just doesn't feel right about Trump coming in as a president. And I don't know what's going to happen. What chain events are going to take place, but something just doesn't seem right about this whole election. It seems really off kilter, way off key. But go ahead. And so hang on a second before we go into that. So were you experiencing ghosts? Do you think you were abducted? Did you see UFOs, aliens growing up at all when you were out in Los Angeles or whatever?
Yeah, those things did happen. In fact, 1 week before my experience in which I was abducted per se, my brothers and sisters and I, we had a very strange experience in my room where one night we all shared a bedroom, and I woke up and I saw what at the time I would have described as a gargoyle sitting on my dresser. And I woke up and I woke up with a shriek. I screamed really loud, and it woke up my brothers and sisters right next to me, and they all saw this thing about 3 feet tall with a very big head sitting on my dresser. And when I woke up, my parents in the room right next to us, they woke up, ran over to the room, turned on the light. And as this happened, my brother and sister and I saw this thing run into our closet, and we heard a big crash and a bang, and it disappeared. My parents went to go check in the closet. There was nothing there. And in the morning, we saw that a bunch of things were knocked over. And even to this day, my brother and sister, who don't believe in aliens, don't want to hear anything about it, they will admit that they did see something sitting on the dresser that they almost don't want to talk about.
Right.
And that happened 1 week before.
Now, what does the gargoyle represent, or what do you think its intentions there were for?
Are you saying the gargoyle?
Yes.
I actually don't believe it was a gargoyle. I know that it was what we call the gray alien. Whether or not they come from, outer space, or there's something that comes out of, the deep underground military bases that could have been created somewhere along the line. It had a very big head. It didn't really look like a gargoyle. It looked more like a gray alien. At that time, I didn't really know what a gray alien was. But that's what it was. And so, this event that happened, it was very peculiar and had many different details to it that through the years I have found physical, symbolic, and proof that I was taken into a deep underground military base using advanced nanotechnology that was given to me by the CIA in a mall. That's how it actually happened. It was given to me on a toy train in the mall. these two agents, they used a drug on my mom in a mall. It's called scopolamine, or devil's breath, and they administered it to her. You can look it up. There's a documentary on it, made from Datura, and they administered it to her on a piece of paper. And it made my mom go completely unconscious in a mall, and they were able to tell her anything they wanted her to do, and they told her to follow her, and they led us into a secret room in the Puente Hills Mall, behind all the stores, locked us in an office where they distracted my mom, and they gave me a toy train that had a dose of the black goo on it. But this happened in 2002, and last year in 2015, I was back in my hometown of Montebello, and I had gone to the police station in the middle of the night to ask the police, because I didn't have a phone. I went to go ask them for a ride, or possibly to hook me up with a taxi, because I wanted to come out here to Sedona. And my phone wasn't working, and I wasn't able to get a hold of one of my friends for a ride. So I went to the police to ask them for a ride. And the police came out of the police station, and they ended up, I've never seen these people before, the police officers, and they were all extremely exhilarated and surprised to see me there. I didn't know any of them, never seen them before, and they all claimed to know me, and they all claimed that they were waiting for me for about 3 months to arrive at the police station. And they told me that, some very strange things, but they ended up admitting to me that they were the ones behind administering the black goo to me and bringing me into the base. And I asked them about, what did it look like, and they described to me the dead forest. And I said, why does it look like that under there? And the policeman, Officer Forbes, who now works at the Beverly Hills Police Department, said that it's because it's winter under there. It's all dead. And so, as they're describing this to me, I said, so you know that Obama is the Antichrist? And they said, yeah, we actually know where he is right now. And so these police officers were very excited to bring me to downtown LA, to the entrance of this base, to bring me to supposedly arrest the Antichrist. And we ended up going to the entrance to the base, which was underneath the USC hospital.
You're doing this physically. You're not just doing this in a dream state or out of body experience type of thing. You're physically doing this. Is that what I hear you saying?
Happened. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's something that happened it really happened. And it's just one of those things that's so strange that, it has all the aspects of, any typical, sci-fi, like a government experiment. They admitted to not just targeting me, but actually monitoring and watching me for essentially my entire life. They said that they were waiting for me. I never met these police before, and they admitted to the whole thing. Practically told me my entire life story from their perspective, and they admitted it all to me with the CIA and the NSA, and I asked them about the two women, the CIA agents who, in the mall 14 years ago, gave me the black goo. I asked the police about it, and they said, oh, just a minute. And about a minute later, he said, look over there, and one of the two curly-headed women who were twins walked through the door and looked at me and was like, wow, he's here, and checked it off on a piece of paper. And so it was a full-on confirmation, and I guess you could say initiation, but they admitted it to me and revealed it all to me, and they just let me go. Like it was almost like pulling up the veils and saying, hey. And they kind of laughed about it, like as if you don't tell anybody, no one will believe you. And it happened to me.
So now, let me ask you this: this black goo, how is it administered to you? Like orally, or just on your skin, or how is that administered to you?
Right. So it's so interesting because I had found out about the black goo. I didn't necessarily know what happened to me, but about 2010, one of my good friends, Nicholas, who was involved in it, he started bringing it up too when we were talking about this strange place we were taken to, and it led me to go through the experience as it happened. And so we were taken into the mall, and while one of the agents, this curly-headed old lady with white hair, she was distracting my mom in this room, and while she was distracting my mom, the other one, she went into a wooden dresser or a wooden cabinet in the office, and she pulled out a box of toys. And she handed a few toys to my brother and sister. She placed the toys, these specific toys, in front of them, and then she picked up a white cloth, and she picked up a toy train with this white cloth in her hand and set it in front of me. And she said, "Toy with this." And she looked me in the eyes, and it was almost like she forced it on me. And I was like, whoa, I felt weird about it. And I ended up being like, okay. So I started playing with it. I was like, yeah, I'm playing with the green toy train. And within about 20 seconds, I began to get so sick that I still have not been as sick as I got on that day my entire life. And what happened was, as I was getting sick, I started getting woozy, feeling not feeling good. And I remember seeing one of these curly-headed, what they were disguised as real estate agents. They pointed it out to one another that I'm sick, and they like signaled each other. And they had my mom in this room under the guise that they were trying to get her to sign an insurance contract. And I remember I was old enough to know that they stopped my mom and they basically said, okay, now you need to leave. They didn't even try to close her on the contract. They just like wrapped it up, took the paper from her and said, okay, you need to leave. And they just shoot us out the mall and said, you need to leave the front door now. It wasn't my mom saying, oh, my son's sick, I need to go. It was them pushing us out the mall, and they locked the door behind them. And I went home, and I was just very, very sick. And the first day that I was under there, I experienced something that I know now was a virtual reality simulation technology, where they created a what looked like, if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, Neo, he's given the black goo. He touches the mirror, the black mirror, and this technological goo stuff eats him, and he wakes up in this abyss, coming out of almost an insectoid pod, where this body, this like clone of his body, is hooked in to this machine on these electrical pillars that go up as far as you can see and go down as far as you can see. And I was in a place like that, but it was brick buildings. It was these brick buildings as far as you could see, very big brick skyscrapers, and you can't see the ground. And there was a blonde woman at the top of this brick building with fire. The brick building's on fire, and she's about to jump off the brick building. And there's a firefighter about to grab her. He's almost going to save her life, but she falls into this abyss and dies. And I feel her pain. And as soon as that happened, you can feel the hopelessness of he was about to save her, and she fell still. And all of a sudden, it repeats itself. She ends up right there at the top, and then she falls again. So for the first night, this scene just repeated itself over and over and over again, like a video game. And so they're trying to traumatize me and split my consciousness and hurt my psyche.
So your brother and sister, they didn't get sick. You were the only one that got sick in that whole situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They specifically gave the train.
Got it. So what I want to do right now, Stephen, is I want to take a breather, just kind of regroup, and play some music by Cher Angela. I want to play this song called Magic Unfolding. I think it's quite befitting. But I want to just play this music. I want to send out love, blessings, healing, angels of light, love to everyone here on the phone lines, in the chat rooms, all our family and friends, all our vehicles that help take care of us in our places of residence, that help take care of us. To all to the President of the United States and all his family, to all the kids and the animals and the plant and the plants on the planet, especially the ones in need concern. Anyone you want to add to that, Stephen?
Yes, actually, I pray that the grace and strength of God be upon everybody listening and everybody not listening. And all, like you said, all the animals. And I pray for those who are at Standing Rock and those who are suffering from the wars in the Middle East to have the strength and the courage and the endurance to move forward and overcome in the glory of Christ.
Okay, good. Marietta, anyone you want to add to that?
Yes, I guess all the homeless people that we have right now, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
To Leonard Pelcher, who's in prison unjustly, American Indian, and should have been released a long time ago, and also just people at Standing Rock.
Nice. And yeah, that's a good idea. Let's send out love, blessings, healing, and right now to all the people involved in that whole situation in North Dakota with the pipeline. Everyone else in need and concern, we will be back. Magic Unfolding by Cheryl Angela from the album. And for those of you that are on Ustream, watching this on Ustream, I'm going to hold the album cover up. But Coming Home to Love is her album, and we will be back. And we're back. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona. The spiritual introduction on Blog Talk Radio and FreeConferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining relationships through human values. And right now, it's I don't know what you guys are experiencing. I don't know if it's raining over there or in Sedona, but it's been raining here all day. And I'm actually surprised it's not snowing because I have a feeling it's probably going to turn into snow anytime. But anyhow, we're here, the Golden Age Paranormal Experience show with Stephen Nakamura, all the way out of Sedona, Arizona, talking about the freedom from the Matrix Prophecies. And so Stephen explains that he grew up in Southern California. He had some weird experiences where he was taken. Actually, his consciousness was split in two. Well, part of it went into a clone version of himself that's somewhere on this planet. I'm assuming, I don't know where, but and the other part he was taken to a place where there was a dead forest. I'm assuming is it safe to say a dead forest, Stephen?
Yeah, actually, so this dead forest, I now know, was actually the ninth floor of the Norwalk Underground Military Base underneath Los Angeles. Yeah, I was taken under this and uploaded into a clone's body. And my other part of my body was in my apartment building in Monterey Park.
Right.
And how it's what's interesting about it is it is kind of a matrix. It's almost part of it had to do with almost like a high-tech nanotech and a virtual reality simulation, as well as like the typical David Icke alien farm concept in the hologram. But I was saved from that experience. I was actually brought out of that horrible, tormenting place by Jesus Christ. And I didn't really figure that out for many years later. And, I grew up Catholic and quickly I became, at the age of 11, I went to paganism and Wiccan and, got into all that stuff and got into the New Age. And after many years, I realized and I remembered that I was saved by Jesus from that experience. Right after that election I was talking about, a very big, bright light, a white, bright light came into my apartment complex window and also at the same time came into the base on the floor of this military complex, the Dead Forest, and surrounded me in a ball of peace and love and light, and I was no longer in the excruciating pain that I was in for those entire 3 days. And that's not typical for a regular illness. You don't just snap out of it and you're 100% better. But that's how it was here. And I was completely removed of all the pain that I experienced. And I think it might have been because my parents were praying for me. And the next sequence of events was I was flown up the crystal rivers of light, the red and white crystal rivers of light that come out of Jesus' heart, usually to that depicted in pictures. And he flew me up those crystal rivers of light and brought me off on a snow globe-like planet out in space with a very small planet. He dropped me off in a pen, an open white pen on a green grassy pasture hill with a bunch of little kids in there that were like sheep. And he was the shepherd. And I looked off into the distance and I saw this black hole in space and I could feel the vast infiniteness of God. And immediately after that, I guess I went to sleep that night and woke up fine the next day. And I was 9 years old at the time, and immediately after that, that year in my life, up until through the next 7 years, I became very, very passionately what my mom would call obsessed with developing psychic abilities. I was constantly trying to bend spoons with my mind and move objects and read people's minds. And so I went through a 7-year process of meditating and building my energy and building chi balls and trying to move objects with my mind. And towards the end of those 7 years, when I was 16, I actually got very good at telekinesis. I was able to move objects with my mind. I was able to move paper and pens at will. And in high school, I was known as the guy who would sit there and try to move things with his mind. And people saw it. People would see me do it, and they knew that I actually had the ability to do that. But I stopped after many years in around 2011. Not necessarily. I was kind of bored of it, but also I got very good at it to the point where I had made a few energy balls and I threw them across the street, and it would blow things up. I completely exploded something across the street, and I also caused a blackout one night, and I kind of got intimidated. I was like, wow, this is a little intense, so I stopped. I ended up stopping. So, that was, a lot of us have gone through phases like that, especially my generation. I think, there was quite a lot of people who were doing that. But I was targeted on MySpace for that. And I was targeted by a man named James Ring. And he wrote a book called The Lone Wolf is a Dangerous Wolf. And I read that when I was 13. He found me on MySpace when I was 13 because he said I was into telekinesis. And he was linked up with a guy named James Caswell. And James Caswell and James Ring were all into military abductions, and James Caswell is an NSA agent, M16 agent, who grew up in the military programs where they create super soldiers. And he's pretty well known online. And one of the big events that happened in the last year was in the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, he was arrested out of his house in the UK, and he was charged with blackmailing his wife. His wife was the daughter of a billionaire, the billionaire who owns the Ralph's supermarket chain out of California. And he blackmailed his wife as an Illuminati initiation. And so he was charged with that, but he was also charged with stalking on Facebook. And he was stalking my son's mother and I on Facebook in 2011 under an alias called Laidlaw. And on Facebook, he revealed to us our actual NSA files for being in Project Blue Blood and the alien breeding program. And he was arrested for that last year, about 4 years after the fact, and he was sentenced to 14 years in prison. So it was a very serious thing, and it actually made headline news in the UK for a couple months. And he was on a disclosure program called the Basis Project with Miles Johnston, where a lot of the people that I've actually worked with and got to know very well, including Rachel Adams and Laura Blackwell, who I've worked with as well, are disclosing their stories growing up in the military abduction program. And one of the guys in that program who was a whistleblower and disclosing that was a young man named Max Spires. And he was married to a good friend of ours, Rachel Adams, who she also had an experience with the black goo, and so did her husband, Max Spires. And earlier this year, about 5 months ago or so, he was murdered, and he was murdered using the black goo. And this was actually went viral. It was all over the internet. It was front page, article on different blogs and stuff like that about how he died. He died barking up the black goo in large amounts. And so this is a phenomenon that is absolutely, completely bizarre and science fiction-like, but it's really happening, and it's happening close to home. It happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of people around me, but they don't even know it. They've had a lot of strange experiences, but they don't know how to put it into context. And the context of it leads into the prophetic part of this freedom from the Matrix, in which a lot of these very, very negative events, they line up with the prophecies that are spoken in Revelation about the four horsemen of the apocalypse and the different plagues and all the strange things that are going to be happening at the end of the world, as well as various different indigenous prophecies, including the Hopi prophecies, which depict very, very negative things happening at one time. So, we have a kind of a gauge to know where we're at, how we're close to the end, with how things are culminating. And those prophecies are things that should be taken seriously. In the Bible, it does say, "Blessed and happy is the man who heeds the words of this prophecy." And we're also told in the Bible by Yehoshua, Yahuwah, Jesus, that when you do see that the apostles, the disciples, they ask for a sign, what will be the sign of the end? And he says, you will see, all these different things happening, cataclysms, disasters, but these are only the birth pains and the beginning of the end, and the end is yet to come. So I do believe that there is some time before we do see the actual end of the world. So luckily, we have some time to get people to purify and come to the place within their spirit and their soul with God, that we can all, ascend into the golden age that is truly our inheritance as blessed children of God. What many people call starseeds or the 144,000. But there is a major deception coming. This is definitely a very viral subject and of much concern and controversy of the late, considering that many people, if they don't know what's going on, they feel it. I'm sure you guys know about that and have known about that for years.
So now, let me ask you this, Marietta. What are you picking up from all this? What are you interpreting? What are you perceiving?
I really don't know. I'm just kind of sitting here listening. I've read a little bit of what he's talking about. I think Whitley Schreiber makes an allusion to that in one of his books. So some of it I understand and some of it I don't.
Got it. So let me open up the phone line real quick. Area code 229. Aloha, you're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call tonight.
Yeah. And who are we talking to? How did you hear about us, and where are you located at?
My name is Melvin. I'm calling from Georgia, and I heard about you through Blog Talk Radio show.
Okay. So you got a question for Stephen?
Yes, I just want to make a comment on the topic he's talking about. I heard about the election part of it, about Barack Obama being stay in office, and I heard that on the show at Blog Talk Radio. So I just wanted, that's when you said it again, it like caught my eye again. So I just wanted to say that.
So yeah, you were confirming that, your support. Well, I don't know if you're supporting, but you're confirming that. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, good.
That it is that he will stay in office.
So that's an interesting perspective.
It is strange.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, as a young man, having had this experience, that I myself, years before anybody was even talking about Obama being the Antichrist or things, I had known from my first-hand experience that this would be true because I had seen it under there. And it is very interesting and radical and very concerning and exciting to see so many other people having dreams and visions and even first-hand physical testimonies, such as the testimony of Andrew D. Bashago, who claimed as a kid in the 80s he was being taken into the basement and teleported to Mars with Barack Obama out of the Sepulveda and F-9 jump room department of the Norwalk base, which I was also taken to. Something that, most people say, where's the proof? How can you say so? And it's one of these things where you just can't make it up. It's not something that I think anybody with an imagination can really make such correlations that are out of my control as other people's testimonies, let alone hundreds and thousands of them.
No, I hear you. I just interviewed several months ago, I interviewed a couple who did a documentary called Packing for Mars, and they let me watch the movie, and they did a whole documentary on a whole teleporting system, some kind of a machine or something of the sort, where they were training kids to work with it and to teleport themselves. And in that movie, on stage, in front of, I don't know how many people, several people, a man comes up and says, I can be teleported to Mars and have lunch and then come back the very same day. So, and it's unclear as to whether he's being teleported just his etheric body or his whole physical body or not. But that's the that's out there. I mean, you can like I said, you can even go watch this movie Packing for Mars and check that out as well for something like that. But anyhow, so I want to thank you, Melvin. Go ahead, Melvin. Is that correct?
Yeah. Thank you, Melvin. I have a question on this.
Go ahead.
I'm doing. Okay, I'm just, basically concerned about my health and my finances. I haven't been feeling well lately. I got injured on my job. And
Melvin, let me stop you there. This is not the psychic show. Actually, that's going to be next week. If you want to come on, and you'll want to call in early because a lot of times we'll get a lot of people coming through. But next week we're doing the psychic show. We have 3 or 4 people coming in for readings, and so if you want to do a reading, then that would be the time to do so.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. So, but thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and then we will talk to you next time. Aloha.
Thank you. All right, yes. All right, you too. Thank you.
Aloha. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all that good stuff. So anyhow, so getting back to Stephen. So Stephen, so what are freedom from the Matrix prophecies? What are you talking about? What do you? And I think you've already mentioned some of it, or part of it. What are we talking about? What is it that you're referring to? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I think that one of the things that I find interesting that many people know about or may not know about, so I'll just mention it. When you bring up the Matrix, of course, what comes to mind is the movie, with Keanu Reeves, and most people know, but some of you listening may not know that the actual movie of the Matrix was based on a book called The Third Eye that was written sometime in the early 19th century, 1900s. I think it was the 1930s by a young girl who had a prophetic vision or series of visions that she wrote in a book called The Third Eye, and it definitely has major correlation to prophecies about Jesus returning, Jesus' second coming. And so there is quite a lot of correlation, and what I guess you said evidence that what is depicted in the movie The Matrix, as well as the movie Terminator, which is based on the same book, The Third Eye, they have correlations to the prophecies written about Jesus in the Bible and Revelation, Daniel, and other religions or cultures that have prophecies of a messianic return. And they all, in the Bible, it'll talk about the Antichrist or, the different false prophets as well. And it's interesting how that's depicted as a technological, system glitch, which is, Mr. Smith, or, the bad robot in the Terminator.
The road.
And so the Matrix, in a sense, is the curse, which the Bible talks about that we as humans are being freed from in these end times. And it's quite a very deep study, and there's a lot of different signs that people are looking at around the world or in their personal lives that speak to them and show them a very specific meaning about where we are at that time. And we're very close. We're very close. And I myself have had an extremely dense amount of prophecies fulfilled in my own life, not only my own visions, things that I have seen, dreamt about, but also books. I've seen many different books and movies that I have seen fractal meaning and prophecies being fulfilled even. I believe that fractals are essential to understanding prophecy because not only is it time repeating, but it's also the nature of reality itself coming to a coherent where the rip is being mended again. We're returning back to nature. The mother is fleeing into the wilderness and being kept safe. So right now, for all of us, the thing to focus on about the prophecy is to see that the prophecy is not just about the end of the world, but it's also about the beginning of the real life. It's the beginning of eternal life, of a golden age, the millennial kingdom, in which the meek shall inherit the earth. And so this is all about coming out of the illusion of the system that we've created that most people think, it's modern day industrialism, it's only been around for 200 years, but it's actually been around a lot longer. Civilization, it separates us and creates a platform that segregates us from nature, from our actual roots. And that's what it's all about, is coming back to our heart and seeing things for what they are, because we don't have to see it through the lens of a culture. Ken McKenna is always saying, culture is not your friend. So when you look at the world through the lens of how everyone else sees it, in their fear of each other and their fear of, going outside the bounds and pushing the envelope too much, we'll be able to really reclaim. Most people say, oh, we'll reclaim our primal nature, our instinct. And I think that that's something that is not understood as well as it should be, that when we're speaking about the Christ within and our Christhood, our inherent purity in God, we will feel that as a primal sensation that is so familiar and natural to us, that just like it says in the Bible, that Jesus Christ, who is the way, the truth, and the life, will make your path straight. And as they say, and you can see a video of George Bush Sr. saying it when he's speaking about the New World Order. He's saying it's no longer the law of the jungle. This is going to be a new world order. So this new world order, this new pattern of life in the human mentality and the human physicality and sociology and economy of the way we do things, is going to be completely removed from the law of the jungle, which is the law of nature, and listening to your instincts and trusting in God and trusting in the positivity and the love that is pushing and propelling the creation, the divine creation forward. And it really comes down to that. So, as it says in the scripture, that people in the end of times will, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man, where people will be running to and fro, back and forth, trying to gather knowledge. We will be stacking up knowledge. People want to know the secrets. People want to know about, the occult secrets, how to get up the hierarchy, all the depths of, how they can do their magic and all this. But what it really comes down to is not the knowledge that we can consume and store up for ourselves, but how well we can act out of faith on our base instinctual primal drive of our spirit that is straight. It's, one way. It's one thing. It's unified with the will of the Father, with the will of the Creator on this earth. So it's something that is simple. It's just like it said in Scripture, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven unless you become as little children, who, little children don't go here and there to gather information to know how to do anything. They just do it because they know that that's how they feel, that's what their dream is. So, it's
so little children is basically transparent. So you become transparent, so everybody sees who you are from the inside and out. And then, and if you're looking at, if you look at the works of Alice Bailey and Joshua David Stone, Benjamin Crumb, Helen Blavatsky, and a number of other authors, and if you go in and read some of the works of Alice Bailey, I've deducted, I calculated that literally we're not even talking about the end of the world in the sense of speaking. We're talking about the end of the age of Pisces is what we're talking about, which will officially, I believe, will end in 2024. 2025 will actually begin the age of Aquarius, which will be a 2,100 year period of time, which will also be the golden age, and which we'll be working with magic, ceremonial order, and a whole new way of life, which will be amazing, a peacetime for years and years to come. And so, I think there's a lot of translations that people have not understood or maybe made for themselves that they really need to consider. I don't think this planet's going to be destroyed between now and 2024, 2025. And when we're talking about war, we're talking about planet Earth. So I really just don't think the planet Earth is going to be destroyed. Now, in 2,100 years from now, it's determined, it's been assessed, or it's been predicted or perceived that this whole solar system is going to be destroyed, literally. And we're going to eventually go into what you call the third ray solar system. Right now we're in what you call the second ray solar system, a solar system of love and wisdom. And then the prior to, and this has to do with I can't remember those theories. The Big Bang theory. There was a Big Bang and all the dinosaurs were destroyed. All this other stuff was destroyed in a solar system that was called a one-ray solar system of will and power. And so that was all destroyed years and years and years ago. And then eventually, the second ray solar system, which we're in now, was developed and evolved and advanced to the point where we're at now. And so again, we're talking about a galaxy or a solar system and not a world. And so I think there's just simply a mixture of terms that maybe are not being defined or refined in a way that's understandable in terms of what actually may be taking place in the sense that I understand. Again, if you go back to the Alice Bailey works, Helen Blavatsky, Benjamin Graham, Joshua David Stone, all these people, you can read a lot of that information and deduct it for yourself. So, but anyhow, so now we got 13 minutes left to go. Go ahead, Stephen.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, it is definitely interesting, the knowledge that we have now of, what you're speaking of, how the precession of the equinox lines up verbatim with the different historical, I guess you could say, golden age, technologically advanced civilizations that we've had in our past, that only now we understand we're actually part of our past and not a part of folklore or mythology, and happened much longer, a much longer time ago than we thought humans were even around. So it is very interesting, and I do believe that this end of the age is going to be very much a jump, what may look like a jump from an M class or an M2 class civilization to an M3 class civilization, as Michio Kaku loves to talk about, in which we will go from not just being an intersolar civilization, but an intergalactic one.
Exactly.
I believe that the knowledge, love, and peace and geometry that lies within our natural, created form is the key to that travel as well. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's, when people think of heaven, they think of, it's all glowy and white and magical. And then they can't really see further than that. And it's something that for those of us who, it has been coined through Dolores Cannon's work with all her clients, that there are phases of these souls coming onto the planet are almost like reincarnating, like it's spoken about in the scripture, where the dead will be raised again and come back onto the planet to help facilitate this golden age. The indigo children and the crystal children were coming in, and we have a first-hand memory and knowledge of what it was like and what it will be. And it's going to be amazing. We're going to have technology. We're still going to have technology. We're going to still have things, but we're going to have that freedom to experience that, and freedom to go out and do those things that we love, instead of having all the boundaries of money and laws and all these things that keep us from really doing what we're here to do and fulfilling our soul's purpose. And it makes you wonder, you have a math mission. Huh?
No, I believe it's already amazing, Steve, because a lot of Jesus said himself, you will do things that I do, but even better and even bigger. And so that's already happening even now. And there's still structures that are in the way of us developing and advancing even more and further. And we're not even talking technology. We're talking about all kinds of other ways of doing magic, of just working with each other in ways that we haven't even thought about. I think there's still, of course, there's a lot more growth and a lot of more room for growth for us. We're still teenagers in the whole spectrum of it all, and the whole galactic system of it all. We're still teenagers compared to a lot of the other planets, a lot of the other civilizations, the Pleiadians, the Syrians, and so forth. We're still kids, and so we still have so much more to learn. But we're already advancing so much, even the last 20, 30 years, 50 years, with the amounts of steps we have taken, that we have already taken, have been pretty huge and pretty amazing as well. So again, and between now and 2024, there's still structures that are in the way of us going forward, and those need to be destroyed, and so that we can make room for the new and better stuff that's going to be happening. Which is what I believe is going to happen. And probably there's going to be a whole big, huge shift that's going to be taking place next year. I don't know when it's going to start, but I mean, I think it's already started, but it's going to be even bigger, I think, beyond what we may even perceive. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. And so, yeah, we got 8 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to put out there that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I do just want to confirm, I spoke most of the time about, my upbringing in the My Lab and, what you're referring to as these structures that are still in place, keeping us from that. And you did say that you believe that next year is going to be a big, breakthrough when it comes to these things that we've been anticipating. And that's something that I can completely agree with as I see it as far as the prophecies go, because half of this is about the prophecies. And it wasn't until a year and a half ago that I did get into and crystallize my purpose and involvement with the prophecy. As last year, I had a very profound experience in which the Blessed Mother came to me, or the Holy Spirit came to me, along with the Blessed Mother, and I was given, over the course of 5 days, I was given nonstop a very powerful, succinct, and detailed prophetic vision of the future, scene by scene, as it's going to chronologically play out over the course of the next 10 years. Right. And as I was shown this prophecy a year and a half ago, what I was shown has indeed come true in my life and in the world, chronologically verbatim. And next year is a very big year where all those things are going to pop off. And we're going to start, it's like we're going to hit the racetrack and we're going to start. And it's going to be really amazing. A lot of people are going to be surprised, and a lot of people have been prepared. And we're there. Some of these things are going to really blow people away, that the powers are shifting. And we're reclaiming our birthright and getting vindication and doing what we're here to do.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Absolutely, and I believe that well, next numerologically wise, next year is a 1 year, which means that we're at the beginning of a whole new phase for 9 years, and 9 years of what you're talking about. So, and again, and I'm talking about 2024. Officially, the age of Pisces is going to be come to an end, a complete close, and we're going to be officially going into the age of Aquarius in 2025. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that's going to pan out. And with this thing about the elections, it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to pan out too, because a lot of other people have predicted that, or have said or talked about the notion that something's going to happen, and Trump may not ever actually really take over an office. It may never happen. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. We'll find out soon enough. So, anything else you want to put out there, Stephen? We got 5 minutes. Well, Marietta, is there anything else you want to add to any of this?
No, I think I'm mostly just listening.
Okay. Stephen, anything else you want to add? We got about 5 minutes left.
Well, that's about it. As general as it can get. I think that's about it. There are so many details to how these prophecies are unfolding to free ourselves from the matrix, as we had it. And I think that what it really is, I think I could leave people off with: do the work. Many of you have been given the signs, or been given truth that you need to share, or a job or a dream that you know is very close to actually coming to fruition, where you're going to start building something, or you're going to start doing something, and it's grandiose. And what I got to say is, dream bigger, and dream the impossible, because it's really going to come true. Do not give in to practicality and the limitations of what you think is possible. Because if you think on the terms of what you consider grandiose and impossible and exciting, those things will magically manifest in your life through the grace of the divine providence. And so what we should focus on is really working with what we've been given and sowing the seeds that we have and investing the metaphorical money that we have to grow into something bigger and to start to prepare ourselves to take on bigger roles that serve not just your greater community, but the entire planet. And stop playing small, start playing bigger, and realize that you have more power and authority and grace and love than you can imagine. So it's time for you to realize that you are joint heirs as kings and queens on this planet to not just go forward with the authority and power that's your divine birthright, but have the responsibility to love and do what is right and have the integrity for our greater community and the people of the world as a whole. And not limit yourself.
So now, what I want to do real quick, Stephen, I want to, on Sunday, I'm going to be interviewing a guy by the name of Reverend John Pope, who wrote a book called Yahweh, The Biblical God is an Alien, which is very much in line with what we're talking about. And he basically says that these aliens are saying that go ahead and worship your God, but if things are going to be changing, or you should change the way that you reference God, I believe, and so that people understand that God is and see, according to Benjamin Krim, God is the sum total of all the energies in the universe, everything in the universe. So where do you draw the line? I don't know, but there's you can work with that. But I also wanted to say that in January we're going to be doing a psychic prediction show. Instead of doing the psychic show that we regularly do every third Friday of the month, we're going to be doing the prediction show for 2017. And so if you want to come back on, you guys want to come back and listen to that, catch that, you can do that as well. So and I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how all that's going to pan out. This year we did the prediction show. I did predict that Hillary Clinton, I didn't believe was ready for being a president. And although I think she had everything there for that, but I just wasn't clear in whether she was ready for president or not. And I did say, I believe I said that whether we like it or not, it may be Trump that may be will become president. I don't know, but we'll see when we get there. But anyhow, so and right now what you're saying, Stephen, is that even though all this is taking place, things between now and the middle of the inauguration can still change, and there could still be a whole thing that's going to happen between now and the next week or two. So we're going to see what happens. I want to thank you for coming on, Stephen, for sharing your insights with us and just kind of putting it out there, and appreciate that. Also, Marietta, thank you for coming on. I don't know what's going on. So, anyhow, have a God-Goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha. Marietta, you still going on there?